India's ambition to become a global power requires it to focus on military diplomacy. Despite its economic and technological advancements, India's military power remains a crucial factor in the global power equation. India's current strategy of balancing its relationships with major powers such as the United States, China, and Russia is insufficient for achieving its goal of becoming a global power. Instead, India should adopt a more proactive military diplomacy strategy that seeks to build strong defense partnerships with key countries around the world. India's military diplomacy, a path to global power status. As India aims to enhance its global status, military diplomacy presents a promising avenue for achieving its objectives. The term military diplomacy refers to the use of military engagement and cooperation as a means of advancing a nation's foreign policy goals. India's military diplomacy has been limited in the past, primarily focused on peacekeeping missions and disaster relief operations. However, as India's economy and strategic interests expand, it is becoming increasingly clear that military diplomacy can play a critical role in securing its global aspirations. Military diplomacy is particularly relevant for India given its geographic location, where it is surrounded by countries with varying degrees of stability and security. India's strategic position requires it to balance its relationships with major powers, while also building closer ties with smaller countries in its neighborhood. Enhancing India's military capabilities. To pursue a more proactive military diplomacy strategy, India needs to invest in its defense capabilities. This includes improving its military hardware and technology to offer more to potential partners in terms of security cooperation, joint military exercises, and military aid. It is to be noted that India has made significant progress in recent years in modernizing its military. However, it still faces several challenges, including inadequate defense spending, procurement delays, and a shortage of skilled manpower. To overcome these challenges, India needs to pursue a multifaceted approach that includes enhancing indigenous defense production, streamlining procurement processes, and investing in human capital development. Building defense partnerships with key countries. Building strong defense partnerships with key countries around the world is critical to India's military diplomacy strategy. Such partnerships can provide India with access to advanced military technology, training, and intelligence. The United States is one of India's most important defense partners, with both countries signing several key agreements in recent years. The two countries have also conducted joint military exercises and collaborated on defense research and development. Similarly, India's relationship with Russia remains an important pillar of its defense diplomacy strategy. India and Russia have a long-standing defense partnership, with Russia being a major supplier of military equipment to India. India's relationship with China remains a complex issue, with both countries sharing a contentious border and competing for influence in the region. India's military diplomacy should focus on building partnerships with countries that can help counterbalance China's influence in the region, such as Japan, Australia, and the United Kingdom. The importance of neighboring countries. In addition to building partnerships with major powers, the importance of building closer ties with smaller countries in India's immediate neighborhood. Such relationships can help India counterbalance China's influence in the region, while also enhancing its own strategic position. India has already made significant strides in building defense partnerships with its neighbors. For instance, India has signed several defense cooperation agreements with countries such as Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Nepal. However, India's defense diplomacy in the region is not without its challenges. In some cases, India's efforts to build closer ties with neighboring countries have been met with resistance, particularly from China. Moreover, India must also contend with domestic political factors that can complicate its defense diplomacy efforts. Conclusion. In conclusion, India's pursuit of global power status requires a more proactive military diplomacy strategy that focuses on building strong defense partnerships with key countries around the world. This includes enhancing India's military capabilities, building defense partnerships with major powers, and strengthening relationships with neighboring countries. India's military diplomacy must be multifaceted, taking into account geopolitical factors, regional security challenges, and domestic political considerations. It must also be guided by a clear set of foreign policy objectives that reflect India's national interests. India's military diplomacy efforts have already yielded significant results, with the country establishing itself as a major defense partner for many countries around the world. However, there is still much work to be done if India is to achieve its goal of becoming a global power. India must continue to invest in its defense capabilities, enhance its defense diplomacy efforts, and build stronger defense partnerships with key countries. With the right approach and strategic vision, India can position itself as a key player in the global power equation and achieve its goal of becoming a truly global power. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe.